Hello! Hello, friends. It is I, Elf, here once again. Solo once more. But that's how it is. To do another GM prep stream. I don't anticipate today's stream to be particularly long. Because if I'm being completely honest, I'm feeling pretty good about where we are right now in terms of like the stuff that we have set up, and where we feel like we're sitting in terms of like our general prep. We've got a good sort of like first 3 sessions if things go according to plan, and because we're going to be planning week to week, writing any more like plot now I think would end up being a little bit foolish. Almost certainly it will be subverted. So yeah. So that's the current situation. So, where to begin? Well, the first thing I want to do today is translate a wonderful little piece of stuff from the Discord that we got handed for an NPC by Chef Hef here. Here, I'm gonna bring my Discord on screen so you can see what I'm doing. Chef Hef has made this little card for some Fog Raider minions. And we're going to translate that into a Roll20 usable character sheet for a minion. And yeah, this little character sheet is made with the same thing that I used to make that item card that I showed you a couple weeks ago. This one. The vibro knife, which is a program called Augdudes character generator or GM tools or what have you, but Augdudes, Oggdudes, which has a lot of like the Star Wars stuff in it and automated to a certain degree. It's very, very helpful. Though it what it does is it refers to the book, so it'll be like, you can organize this stuff, but if you want to add the stats for it, refer to XYZ book. So it's just sort of like a free means of organizing things a little quicker. But we have Roll20 for that, so other people have their preferred methods. So I'm going to take that over here so I can see it, and we're gonna add our Fog Raider minions. So we're gonna go to our no name NPCs that we started last week. We're gonna add a character. We're going to open them up, and then we are going to call them Fog Raiders. Fog Raider minion. Wonderful. Save that. Then go to the character sheet. We're going to go to the NPC sheet, and we're going to fill in what we need to here. So we've got a brawn characteristic of 3. We've got 2 agility. We've got 1 intellect, 2 cunning, 2 willpower, and 2 presence. Yeah, that's about typical. We need to add a weapon. So we will add a vibro axe, which has damage of 6 and a critical of 2. It has pierce 2, sunder, and vicious 2, which is nasty. And vicious 2 or vicious 3. Okay. It's gonna be melee, vibro axe, because these are Gamorrean warriors. They also get the old 1 free rank of melee, because they're Gamorreans. So they should end up with 3 brawl, 3 melee with 1 yellow, and 3 resilience. Well, let's just check that we have that correct. Yeah, it looks good. The other thing we should note is their wounds and soak. As they are minions, they have very little very little in terms of wounds, but they do have 5 soak because they have armor. They have 5 wounds. So you'd have to do 10 damage to get through it all because they have 3 brawn and they're wearing padded armor, which is soak 2. So that stacks up. The brawn adds to soak and then the armor adds to soak. Basically. And it's easy to make an NPC because the sheet is very simple for it. But like for instance, let's try them out against a basic challenge, for example. We're going to do a basic melee attack with our new Fog Raider minion. Let's go to our weapon here. Yeah, roll it up. Boom. And oh, it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Why? Why? It should have worked. Let me check. What have I missed? All right, we're going to do it without adding any GM dice. Nope, still didn't come out the way I wanted. Any of these? It's just not rolling that now. All right, there is some issue I'll have to look into. Maybe if I do it from the character sheet? No? What about here? No? Okay, I may need to reload. The dice are currently not doing what I need them to do. That's fine. I can look into that in a little bit. Okay, we gotta go back to the NPC tab. There we go. For all of this, let's just make sure we got it all correct. Maybe it's the qualities that are... because that's what's coming up. And now it just doesn't seem to want to roll. That's okay. We'll put that aside and quickly do a refresh on the page just in case. First solution to any problem is try and refresh. And then let's see if we can do it now. Let's roll with somebody that we know has worked in the past, just in case. We'll grab Dirk here. Is it not importing the dice for some reason? Because I'm not able to roll them anymore. That seems bad. Okay. That is something to check out that I wasn't anticipating. I didn't anticipate that at all. Let's quickly jump over here. I'll go out to my game settings and see if maybe the API is like not loading it for some reason. Was this patched? I don't know. Okay, let's try that. Have you tried turning the dice off and on again? This is what I'm currently doing, basically. Maybe blow on them and put them back on roll 20. Yeah. Of course. There we go. Fixed it. I just had to reload the API. That's okay. If that ever happens to you, do you want me to show you how I did it? I should show you how I did it. I know I tabbed away. I wasn't sure what I'd be showing you if I went to like other screens, but I'll show you how I did it. So if your dice don't work in your Star Wars game, you go all the way out, click on your game, I'm in a lot of games. And then you go to settings, and you go to API scripts. And then the Star Wars Fantasy Flight Dice Roller is an API script that we're running, basically, made by all of these lovely people up here. See? These authors, they're wonderful. And then it, converts various inputs into dice. So all I did was save the script. I just clicked save script, and it like reloaded it. And then we can go to our game, launch our game, and it should work. Unless I have in some way broken it again. Let's find out. Okay, so we go to Dirk. Let's grab Dirk and roll a dice, any dice. Boom, and it works. Wonderful. Good. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm managing another thing off screen to do with this show, so I'm having to like reply to some messages while I do this, which is not the best maneuver that I can make, but it is how we're at right now. All right, so the dice are working. That's what we wanted. Let's try that Fog Raider minion again, just to see if like maybe with the Fog Raider minion for some reason. Okay, no, they rolled their dice just fine. So what if we put them up against 2 challenge dice? Okay, so whatever melee attack they just made here, you can't see it because for some reason it doesn't. My setting doesn't show me the bottom of the screen. But see this result right here. This is a very interesting result because it's a failure, which means that in this melee, because a standard melee attack is going to be against 2 purple challenge dice. And a failure means that they would have missed with their weapon, obviously. You can't succeed when you would otherwise fail. But then there's all of these advantage nodes which would allow you to take certain actions. For instance, if they were a player, they could recover some strain with that advantage. Or if they had a special weapon property that they could activate with that many advantages, they could do so. Or they could make an immediate maneuver, which is like a move action out of turn because they have a ton of advantages. There's like several actions you can do with advantages even if you fail. And the opposite is true for threats. So like you could succeed and then have to deal with the consequences of your bad success. So hang on. These are threats. These little dudes. And they basically mean the enemy gets to do something rather than you do. Which never good. Never a good time. Anyway, we got the Fog Raider minions, which is what I wanted to solidify in there right away from our Discord server. Let me do a quick little scan of the old Discord. There have been some great wildlife suggestions as well. Like Chaotic Bastard has presented the Vodian blimp shark in the Discord, which is a fantastic idea. Measuring on average 3 meters in length, primarily aquatic features like dolphins, frilled fins, and a 3-segmented maw of razor-sharp fangs, often harvested for their fine edge for decorative but very functional knives. Internal reservoirs of hyperlight gases allow them to drift through the air, primarily gaining nutrients through the specialized pores to feast on spores in the fog and nutrient-dense ash left in the wake of burn bunkers. Their teeth are primarily a defensive tool and also used to anchor their bodies to mushroom trees to rest. Somewhere among the bobcat settlements, I think the wildcat settlements, are rumors of a gargantuan blimp shark, several times the size of those commonly seen, known colloquially as driftfang, marred by various attempts of would-be hunters, made meals. I mean, that's pretty cool. Air shark. Air shark is pretty sweet. I'm gonna add that to our little roster of wildlife because I think we need air sharks to exist. Blimp sharks. Let's add a handout for blimp sharks. And I can just. This is the great part about having a Discord of people who are into what you're doing and working together with me as a GM is I can just be like, I'm gonna steal this, and then I'm just gonna copy paste your Discord message directly into the description for me to remember later. Perfect. Nailed it. Blimp sharks. Okay, the formatting is a little off. Hang on. Nah, it's fine. It's just notes. I'm cool with it. Pasting a blimp shark only makes them angry. Vote portion of the campaign will end with the beanbags getting mauled by blimp sharks. I mean, what I like is that the Chaotic Bastard has presented blimp sharks as a very potentially hostile thing. But the way that they are described is that they eat, spores from the local plant life and nutrient dense ash left in the wake of fire. So they're actually not predators. They just have very sharp teeth for a defensive tool and to grab onto mushroom trees to just and then nap, just bite on there and then just sleep. And that's how they sleep, just floating attached to a mushroom tree by their mouth. So they're not exactly the most dangerous, aggressive, predators. You know what I mean? So I like the idea of a spooky, big, nasty thing that is also this, the idea of Driftfang being this massive blimp shark, this huge badass blimp shark that people are trying to take on the white whale, but they're not actually that dangerous. You know what I mean? They're not a big predator. They're just a big herbivore, you know? But posted blimp squid in Discord, but I think blimp shark is even better. I saw the blimp squid too. I just saw the blimp shark just now, and I was like, oh, I need to add that right away. Add that right away. Blimp sharks would probably consider their cultist from the fog gathering to be a tasty treat, though. Yeah, that's a good point. They probably harass. They're probably dangerous to the condenser teams, right? Because all the condensed fog being pulled up into a droid or a farm, is probably attracts them, right? It's nutrient rich to the blimp sharks. So maybe it's a specific challenge. Yeah. I like that. I like that on an original poster. That's really good. I mostly today, this is gonna sound, oh my god, Elf, imagine this, blimp sharknado. One of those low pressure systems comes in, pushes all the blimp sharks down towards the ground. Blimp shark frenzy. Sounds great. Sounds real good. Anyway, I mostly feel like what we're adding at the moment is fluffy. You know what I mean? And I like fluffy stuff. I like additional, NPCs and wildlife and stuff that I can characterize the setting with, the world with. But I also feel pretty supremely confident that we're sort of almost ready to go. Does that sound? I feel like in me saying that, I feel like I sound egotistical, like I'm ready. Like I'm ready to get the players in here and start having them interact with this stuff. You know what I mean? But I think we've done really, really well so far. And thank you, chat, for all of your assistance with that. I wanted to open up like sort of the floor to like questions or stuff that might spark imagination between us, you know, or anything like that. Like I want to allow for people in chat to not necessarily quiz me, but to like ask me stuff and see if we can come up with some canon answers if there aren't any. You know what I mean? Because what I've found with making characters, and I've done a lot of character creation in my time, a lot of character creation, is one of the most useful things is to approach a group of people who don't know anything about your character and have them like rapid fire questions at you. So this was the thing that we did in LARP when I was doing LARP stuff, and I still do, but it's all closed right now because COVID. But when I was doing LARP stuff, it would be like, okay, let's try and get into a character headspace. Sit with a group of friends. Those friends all ask you questions about your character, like one after the other, rapid fire. You know what I mean? And you can't say you don't know the answer because the answer has to be something, right? So I think we could do that with Vode too, with like the current campaign, you know? So like, if you have any thoughts or suggestions or questions, or that you can phrase in the form of a question that I can try and answer from a canon perspective, I think that might be a good way to sort of like round us out. You know what I mean? Do I have enough locals outside of Madame Haranis as far as town stuff? There are a lot of NPCs in the Discord that I really like, that I haven't added to the game yet, but who will come up and then be added. You know what I mean? I'm confident that I can grab, like ideas from the Discord, as necessary for NPCs that need to like fill slots. I'm definitely thinking shop wise, we're gonna have like a Utico specific shop, like a Utico, official place of business, sort of your general store, and then I liked the idea of the sort of like junk collector vibe that somebody had put together. I can't remember who, but I'll have to look through that. Who is the local bounty hunter, and are they working for the Empire of the Hutts or technically independent? I mean, most bounty hunters are technically independent, right? I think, unless they're on a job. I think we have Anil Pad, the like Rhodian assassin, who I'm sure has done many, many jobs and is on their like last job at the moment, so they're around. As to a local bounty hunter, yeah, I like the idea of there being sort of a quote unquote sheriff in that way. Did we land somewhere on the nature, mission, etc. of the native force users and where they are now? How did Vode enhance, alter their force abilities? Are they still around? Why do they stick to Vode instead of spreading out into the galaxy? So I think when it comes to the local force users and the ruins that we have created, they definitely 100% are part of the fungal jungle at this point. They were some kind of like fungoid race, and have since sort of like decayed into sort of non-sentience, or like not non-sentience, but like non-corporealness. And all that remains is like the structures that they made, right? The ruins. And this was like a long, long time ago. And the reason they didn't leave Vode is that they needed the Vodian atmosphere to survive. Like, and they didn't have the like sort of constructive wherewithal to want to leave. You know, there wasn't really a reason for them to. They weren't out to spread the word. I don't think. What about rumors to spread? Okay, what kind of rumors has the New Republic heard about Vode? So I think the thing with Vode in general is that we want it to be a hotbed of activity. We want it to be a hotbed of activity, and the rumors are that it is a place where there are valuables to be had. There is a valuable commodity to be shipped out, whether it is dangerous or not. It holds material value, and I'm sure the New Republic knows that like the Hutts are gonna want to get their hands on it. The various crime syndicates are gonna want to get their hands on it. Like the Imperial Remnant still using some of the stim troopers, you know? I mean, we have a whole faction on Vode that is, like, not retired, but, like, rejected stim troopers who acclimatized to the fog and, like, live out there in the jungles now. Which I think is awesome, you know, as a thing. I think basically the New Republic would see Vode as, like a wild card outer rim, you know, danger. Right? It's a place where you could gain a power base based on the value of the commodities you can get there. But that it's not highly developed. So they're like ants that get too tree-ish and stop moving? Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is this the galaxy at the start of a gold rush but with fog? Well, one of the things that we've addressed several times is that we have the issue of, like, money being devalued, right? We talked last week about credits, Imperial credits not being worth very much, and that, like, on Vode, you get paid in Utico trade ships because Utico accepts them universally, and people around here sort of accept them universally because the Empire's collapsed, and as a collapsed government, you know, the money isn't worth much because the New Republic, doesn't really honor it. You know, they have their own Republic credits. So material wealth in the form of commodities that have value is more important than credits. So Vode is kind of gold rush-y in that, like, there is something you can use to get value out of it. I imagine whoever is bounty hunting on Vode currently probably has an old license issued by the Empire, Kiyama. That would be my immediate response to that. Like, the New Republic hasn't had much reach towards Vode yet, and so whoever is in charge of things down on Vode, bounty hunter style, is probably an imperially licensed bounty hunter. Not that they probably care too much about that at this point, right? It's like, why do the rules matter if there's no authority to enforce them, you know? Yeah. I guess we should. Okay, what entities of the New Republic are likely to interfere? Well, I mean, the New Republic is trying to expand its power base in the same way that the not in the exact same way, but in a similar way to, like, how the Empire did, right? The New Republic has a strong attachment to the core worlds already, and there's, like, a lot of New Republic growth sentiment, right? But even the static governments of, like, the Empire and stuff couldn't manage the Outer Rim as a whole, and that's why the Hutts exist, right? So basically, I would say that New Republic entities that are likely to interfere are, like, embargo. You know what I mean? Like, I keep thinking of, like, blockade, because the New Republic doesn't want fog of war to get off Vode, because it is a valuable and dangerous thing, you know? It can make people more dangerous. It can make situations more deadly. So I imagine, like, when we're talking about New Republic entities, it's probably, like, trade commission related, or, like, some kind of, like, investigatory squad. You know what I mean? What kind of conflicts exist within the structure of Utico? Is anyone gunning to take over for Zala and Jander? There's always, in every organization, there's always somebody trying to climb the ladder. I haven't written this somebody; they don't exist yet, because I'm gonna let the players be the disruptive ones to start with. But I'm sure, given the opportunity to take over, there's always a power struggle. Nobody in any criminal enterprise is entirely 100% loyal. You know what I mean? Like, there's a degree of pragmatism when it comes to criminal syndicates in general, when it's like, if it were beneficial to kick Zala and Jander out, then they would look to do so. Do I have my opening crawl written? No, that's in next week. That's next week. I needed something. I need to save something for the session before the session, right? And we're gonna write an opening crawl. Yeah. So we're saving that one. This is the victory lap. This is the victory lap GM stream. Let's be honest. This one's the bonus one that I'm doing because I want to talk to you guys and hype a little more. Next week's will be the prepare for the first episode, and then first episode next week. Time has flown by. I know. Ooh, you know what I could do? Do I want to do this? Ginger, what do you think? Ginger, should I teaser some of the art this week? It's not done yet. It's not finished at all. But I have some unfinished teaser art that you might enjoy. Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. We can do that. We can do that. I am sure that they are, Ginger. I am sure that they are. All right. Keep in mind, my dear friends, that this is not the final product. Okay? So don't get too overburdened with hype. But here's actually, we're just gonna copy that directly, not onto Roll20, but onto my overlay here. Here's a Vode teaser. Here you go. and that like awning there leading into the underground and the cliffside and like a chasm there. It's pretty great, right? It's pretty great. Anyway, that's just a teaser. The artist is Delaney Yanuzzi. I'll link their Twitter. Hang on. I wasn't planning to show this off today. So I wasn't ready. Oh. Well. I will link their website then. Hang on. Because their Twitter account that I replied to like 2 days ago doesn't exist now. Well, this was unexpected. But I'll figure it out. I'll get you a link. Here we go. Bam. There you go. They've got some wonderful work on their website, and it's great. That's our environmental artist for the upcoming reveal. A lot of unexpected turns today. A lot of technical difficulties. Brief technical difficulties, huh? Apologies for that. Okay. Well, there you go. Some teaser art. Either way, I'm very excited about the other pieces that I've seen, because we have several. And like I said, that wasn't a finished product, but it is very cool. Very cool. So, all right, where were we? I was answering questions, and then I came up with sending art instead. Let's see. Have I gotten my kazoo cover of the title crawl music ready so you don't get DMCA'd? I mean, I'll just sing it into the microphone. You've seen the trailer, right? The terrible trailer where I just sung Star Wars music over it into the microphone. Yeah. Not great. Not my best move. Yeah. I just got an email from the artist about some more art that I have to do. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting highly distracted. This is why doing things by myself is always what do you call it? A gamble, a desperate gamble. Because I'm like, I need to find something to talk about. Oh, I've seen something I need to read. Are the Edge of the Empire sheets or modules on Roll20? So, there are sheets made by a user. They are not officially supported, but they are present. And if you use the dice rolling API system that Ginger has just linked, it will allow you to roll dice the same way that you would regularly. See? Look. So, supported, officially no, but unofficially, yeah, no, definitely. Modules, no, but sheets and stuff, yeah. One of my biggest challenges as a GM for this particular game is taking a system that exists basically only in books and then making it work on Roll20, right? So that's basically what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. I mean, it was terrible, Ginger. Let's not beat around the bush. My rendition of the Star Wars music was adequate at best. And even then, it was mostly just to avoid having to get things copyright claimed. Oh, okay. Yeah, the dice. Let me give you the rundown, Ginger. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll give you the rundown. So, every character has the positive side of the dice available to them. That's this side. The blue, the green, and the yellow. So, the green means is like a basic having skill in a thing. And we'll have certain sides that have blanks or not blanks. Let me roll some so you can see. So you can see here that we rolled 1 advantage and 2 successes on these green dice. Some of those are going to be blank sides. Let me roll again. See, like this one, for example, is just blank, and we only got 1 success on it. So the types of icon that you want to see come up are advantages and successes and triumphs. Triumphs are on the yellow dice. Let me just roll a whole bunch so that we can get some. There's a triumph right here. So these are all good results. Successes are the explosions, advantages are the little wings with the little dot in them, and then triumphs are they're like better successes with a narrative advantage, right? That you can use to change the way that the scene runs. So green dice are a sort of a basic ability at something. You can see here our boy, 1 skill across the board, Dirk Star Killer, or whatever, I can't remember what I called him, Star Smasher, has 1 green in a whole bunch of skills, and that's because all of his base stats are 1. If we bump his base stats, and we go like, he has 2 brawn, 2 agility, 2 intellect, 2 cunning, 2 willpower, and 2 presence, you can see that now he has 2 greens. Then if I take a skill level in any of these skills, let's say he takes a skill level in computers, right? You can see that it's changed to a yellow. A yellow is always a direct upgrade. A yellow is always a direct upgrade to a green. So if it ever tells you to like upgrade a die, you'll be upgrading like a green to a yellow. Or if you have 2 yellows and no greens, you upgrade it by adding a green, for example. And yellows have more good possibilities on them than greens do. Greens have basic good possibilities. Then there's the boost die, which is the blue die. These die all have technical names, but the colors is way easier. If I'm like the challenge die or the whatever die, it's like, people don't remember, but the colors are easy to remember. The boost die, the blue die, is a circumstantial bonus. You can add a boost die when something would give you an advantage. So if the enemy is blinded by a steam pipe explosion, you might add a boost die to surprising them. And like you, as a GM, I can just like circumstantially add a boost die to any random roll to give you more possibilities at good results, basically, like to add to your good possibilities. Then on the other side of the gallery, we have the opposite D6 from the blue one. The black one is the like disadvantage die. It's the the opposite. You get a steam pipe burst in your face, and so shooting at the enemy is difficult because you can't see, so I add a circumstantially negative die. And then purples are your like negative greens, and reds are your negative yellows, if you know what I mean. Like they sort of equal out. Most things require a certain number of purple die to do. So challenge-wise, you've got a scale of tasks from 1 purple to 5 purple. That's like simple to impossible, basically. And then circumstances can either upgrade or change those die based on like what is rolled, or what the narrative circumstance is, or how many advantages you got last time to upgrade die this time, or like that kind of stuff. The other thing to note is the destiny pool. So at any time, there are destiny tokens, and destiny tokens are they're like I roll 4. So force powers have their own thing, but we don't need to get into that because I'm not going to have a lot of that to start. But if we roll some destiny tokens, you roll force powers at the beginning to determine your destiny. And we've got 1 dark, 2 light, 1 dark. So 2 dark, 2 light. At any point, you as a player can use a light side token to increase, to upgrade a green into a yellow, or to, in some way improve your circumstances. But when you use a light side token, it turns into a dark side token. And then that lets me use it to upgrade my purples into reds, like for example. It's like you can use, the quote unquote destiny of a situation to change it one way or another based on your desire. But every time you do, the power on the table like flip-flops. So if the good guys use all of their, light side tokens to improve their lot in life, and then I'm left with a bunch of dark side tokens, then the next thing that they do is going to be way harder because I'm going to be adding dark side tokens, and then they'll get back light side tokens, which is really nice. It's like a kind of like back and forth balance based on, like moving the table around. And the idea is that those tokens are always flowing, that no side holds on to them forever because it like ruins the sort of like natural flow of the game. The idea is that they be used, right? So if they all become light side tokens, the idea is that the players would use them, I would remind them to use them. Stuff like that. And likewise, if they're all dark side tokens, I'm not supposed to bogard them so you can't use them. You know what I mean? Which, I don't know. It's fun. It's good. I mean, a rollable table is an interesting idea, Robert Breen. You know, like Rolodex of weird jungle shit you can throw at them. I mean, some of our first missions are gonna be going through jungle locations, so that might be an interesting side project. Can the PCs use Darkside tokens? No, those are mine. Those are mine to use, but they can use Darkside force points if they're a force user. So that's that's something. I love making them. Yeah, rollable tables. So we get a big rollable table of random Vodian jungle nonsense. That would be fantastic. How many younglings would you have to kill to spend one dark side? I mean, if you killed younglings, you would gain dark side, surely. You don't have to spend any. The thing about the dark side is once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny, Canadians. I'm going to make a random encounters table in Discord. Oh, yeah, Robert Breen. I'll be waiting for that. I'm going to steal it whole cloth. I'm going to grab it right off the Discord, I promise. And if anybody else wants to do random rollable tables, I'm taking them. I'm stealing them. And of course I'll credit you when I use them. Yeah. So Force. A very interesting little part of the rules that I learned about just recently. Because I've been doing some like Star Wars research for this system. I'm not an expert in this system. For those of you who are wondering, I haven't played hundreds of hours of Edge of the Empire. This is going to be my first time GMing it ever, so it's like it's a whole new thing for me too. So we're in it together. But I've been playing a little bit of the game itself with a friend, Rafidane, who I mentioned last week. And we went over like some of the more esoteric rules, which was really fun. I learned that force powers are entirely based on force die, based on your force rating. You can roll as many force die as you have force rating, which determines your force sensitivity, so to speak. And I've rolled a bunch of dark side here, and a light side. Wonderful. And basically, force powers are used by expending a number of points. So one dark side point, well, one dark side dot is one dark side point, but we also have these two light side dots, which would be two light side points. You know, like on one die, you can roll 2 points, but it's not likely. And if you expend light side points to use your force power, you just get to do it. But if you expend dark side points to use your force power, you have to take some strain or like otherwise like it's more difficult, and it affects, if you're using Force and Destiny's system of morality, affects your drift towards the dark side. And eventually, once you hit that dark side threshold, using dark side points is the one that's easy. And then using light side points is the one that's hard. But the problem is, if you're trying to get out of the dark side, your easily used dark side points are still going to drag you deeper down into it. It's like a slippery slope. It's very difficult to escape from if you breach that Sith threshold, you know what I mean? One of the things I had issues with is throwing heavy objects at something. Like, there are no rules for, say, a large creature like a Rancor throwing a boulder at someone. I mean, if I were you, what I would do is then use it as an attack, right? Like, make up an attack for throwing a giant boulder. Ranged heavy, boulder, damage, I don't know, 10. Like, you just kind of go for it at that point. If you can't find rules for something, you just go for it. I mean, if you're talking about damage, then you just do the same as if you threw something with the Force, I would imagine. Are all the characters capable of using Force powers? No. The way that it works is that you basically have a Force rating. And no character in Edge of the Empire starts with a force rating higher than 0. So they all start with 0 force rating, which is like a 0 force sensitivity. Or force ability, not necessarily sensitivity. And then you can, as you level up, you could take level ups into it, so to speak, to level up your force rating and gain access to force powers with the force sensitive exile career in Edge of the Empire. There are other force related careers in other books, but that's the one that I have. So it's something that you basically like have to role play towards. No character. I mean, you can start your character with a force rating of 1, but it'll cost you XP at your starting creation to do so, if you know what I mean. Like, they're by native chance, it is not possible to use force power, to use force powers if you're not leveling up into it specifically. The other thing is that droids can never increase their force rating. Droids will always have a force rating of 0 because they are droids. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert in any of this role positive gaming. I mean, I just said like I'm just getting into it, you know what I mean? I'm just starting to learn how to GM it. So I'm winging it as much as you. I will be plain and obvious. So what I would say in response to your my long-winded response to your question, Ginger, are all characters capable of using force powers? Yes, if they level up towards it, except for droids. that's my like definitive short-term answer. Like, yes, they are if they put points towards doing that. Yeah. But of course, if you're putting points towards being force sensitive, you're putting less points towards shooting your gun or, surviving a difficult encounter or talking your way out of a dangerous conversation. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff that is equally as good. In fact, I found one that I thought was really funny. If you do the colonist start and then take the Politico career, there is an ability that allows you to use like your sort of intimidation skill to scathingly chastise enemies, and it causes them strain if they like fail, if you succeed in intimidating them. But the thing is that minion enemies don't have strain; they only have damage. Minion enemies can't take strain; they can only take actual damage because they're not cool enough to track strain. So, you can literally chastise enemies to death with the Politico career. Like, a group of stormtroopers attacks you, and you have enough skill to intimidate them into running away. Like, or yell at them enough that they stop shooting at you. Like, like, you could be a character that never touches a weapon, but still have some combat usefulness. You know what I mean? It's really great. It's really great, but I was looking at it like, how does this even work in terms of, like, it's not a force power. You know what I mean? It's not a force power. It's like Princess Leia talking down to Darth Vader. You know, when he's all like, you have the plans. And she's like, nope, don't have the plans. But like, it causes damage to minion level enemies because they don't take strain. They only take damage. I mean, you couldn't use it on like a rival or a nemesis, but you like in the same way. But you can definitely like take out a group of stormtroopers by yelling at them. The talking to the manager approach. I like it. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what the players go for character-wise. I'm looking forward to next week doing session 0 on Friday. So next week, February 19th, 1 p.m. PST, session 0, my friends. And we'll talk about how the PCs know each other. We'll talk about the ship. We'll talk about the characters. We'll talk about all that business. February 19th, which is really soon. It's really soon. I'm very excited. I don't know if you guys know this, but this has basically been my personal brainchild. Like pretty much in its entirety. I can tell you the cast will be somewhat familiar to you, as they are members of Chaos Initiative, though I cannot definitively say who will or will not be participating at this time. But yes, that is the current listed cast. Ginger, you are correct. There may be more. there may be different. I don't know yet. Some things are happening. So yeah, that's going on. I look forward to seeing the game. Yeah, I'm excited to start at this point. Are the Huts, Black Sun, or other crime groups doing anything regarding vote at the start of the campaign? I think mostly they're keeping an eye on it, right? Like they're not looking to cause trouble on Vode, because Utico has such an entrenched presence that it would require like a military coup basically to get them out of there. I think Black Sun and the Huts are probably just kind of like waiting for their opportunity to make a deal. Like, why fight for something that you can pay for? If you have the money to pay for it, would be my response. Like, they're ready to make a business deal, but they're not angry. Man, doing these all by yourself is crazy. Talking entirely 100% of the time. Co-hosts are the greatest. I miss mine. But that's life. I think probably we'll do a short one today. We'll just cut it off kind of around here. And then I'll be back next week for the just before session 0 GM prep stuff, where we do some crawl writing. We do some like intro text boxes, and all that kind of fun stuff. The little bit of box text for the team. And I'll see you then, friends. Don't forget, exactly, as Ginger has already linked, don't forget that there is a Discord entirely based on this campaign. And you can join it by clicking that link. One last question. How many people live in Utico Town in the end? Like, on the Vodian colony? I'm imagining a sort of, like, couple of thousand, because there's, like, depth skyscraper. Most of whom are employed by Utico. Probably, like, 90%. But anyway, like I was saying, join the Discord. Remember, February 19th, session 0, and we'll be back next week, February 18th, for the last GM stream before we actually start playing the game. And by actually start playing the game, I mean making the characters. So, the GM streams will continue week to week as we lay track in front of our players, and I hope that you will continue to join me for them. See you then, friends. Bye. Bye.